Welcome to the Underground.
Turn me up, bitch!
My Little Underground with Peter A.
It's My Little Underground. I'm Peter A. Make sure you're subscribed anywhere you get podcasts and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at MLU Pod. And you can now also support the show using the link in the description. It'll really help me out and My Little Underground as well because we know you love this show. That's why you listen every Saturday. And today we have Dion Lunadon to talk about his difficult decision to leave A Place to Bury Strangers after 10 long years. And he also has some incredible material on the way. He's got some incredible stuff out now that you should check out. He also has some very important advice for up-and-coming artists that I think you all should definitely pay attention to. A lot of gems on this show and so much more with Dion Lunadon on My Little Underground. Dion, my man, welcome back to My Little Underground.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I know you've been very busy doing a lot of your solo stuff, which has been incredible. Especially When Will I Hold You Again, and listening to this song and everything you've been saying about it. It seems like it's your way of reaching out to people who are unable to talk to loved ones because of COVID. Is that fair?
Yeah, something like that. It's hard not to write songs at the moment about what's going on. So that was a very poignant thing at the time, and it just came out. And yeah, it's about you kind of not being able to be with ones you love, or even touch them in some respects.
Right. You did this tune with Kate Clover. When did you guys record this? This is pre-COVID or just during everything?
Well, I recorded it kind of probably it came out June 3rd, I believe. So I recorded it in March, April, May. I recorded it in May. Yeah. So right in the middle of everything. Oh shit. Oh shit. Hold on. Sorry, man. I've got this thing.
Are you good?
Just trying to work it out. Fuck. You there? Hello?
Yeah.
Sorry, man. Did you lose me there for a second?
Just for half a second, but
It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, we're back now.
Yeah. So yeah, I wrote it during May, just right before it came out.
So like recording during this time period, I don't know anybody that has any studios open. So what did you do? Did you do it from home? Did it remotely? What was the process?
Yeah, I have a little studio in my place, so I just I record all my own stuff here. So I just did it here, and then I actually sent away the song for a drummer in Los Angeles. He got a little home studio as well, and he put some drums to it. I mean, that's how I record pretty much all my songs. I write them and record them all, and I write the drums, and I program them, and then I hand them off to a drummer, and I either go into a studio if we're able to, or send it away for them to record over the track.
How working with Kate Clover? Like, did she come over to your house? Did you record over Zoom or what? Like, what did you do?
So I recorded pretty much the whole song, and then I just kind of thought to myself, this would be really cool if it was a man and a woman singing back and forth, because that wasn't really the original idea. It was just like a song, I'll sing it, I'll write about COVID. But then I kind of thought, oh, this could be cool if it was, like a man, a lovers almost, like singing back and forth to each other. And so I contacted Kate, and she's in Los Angeles, and she has a little recording set up at her house as well. So she was able just to I said, look, hey, just sing all the song with me, sing exactly what I'm singing. And then I just picked and chose, what went where to make it sort of make a bit of sense, and voila.
I love that, man. Like you're a very creative person. I know you always want to be busy and have your hands on something, and you didn't let this get to you. You just kind of just did, okay, I'm home. Let me just do something here. You know what I mean? I'm not going to let any space or lack thereof get in the way of my creative process. And I love that.
Well, no, I mean, I see it as a real chance to get some stuff done. I mean, when I'm not touring, I'm always recording myself in my house anyway. But with this whole thing going on, it's like if I don't record, I'm just going to be sitting around being bummed out about quite a few things that are going on. So I've really just thrown myself, and I'm still doing it, just throwing myself fully into just writing music and recording just every day, all day long. That's just kind of what I do.
And some of the proceeds of this song went to Campaign Zero and City Harvest
Mhm.
NYC. Can you talk to me about these organizations and the causes that they're
Uh-huh.
supporting and why they're important to you?
Yeah, well, obviously, Campaign Zero is a place that they kind of educate people on police brutality, and not just educate people. They more kind of try to make moves to end police brutality, and change the way things in law are happening and things like that. Obviously, that's something that definitely needs to be worked on. It's just mind blowing what's happening here at the moment, especially in the last week. It's just the things that happened in the last week to me are just they just illustrate the whole thing so clearly. It's really disturbing, I find, and it takes a lot to disturb me. I like scary movies. I like all sorts of things, and I'm pretty tough, but that really, I don't know, just what's going on at the moment it's disturbing, and it's time to change that. It's like I can't believe we're still living in a world that is yeah, that's like it is. Um, Hopefully things get better soon, and I'm trying to do my part to help. As a musician, it's like, you know, I write songs. That's what I do. I entertain, and the best way one of the ways I think I can help is just by contributing, using my music to either not just bring awareness, but even just raise money to actually make a change. So there's that, and then City Harvest is another place that feed New Yorkers in need of food. With COVID going on and people having lost their jobs and things like that, people need to eat, and City Harvest help out with that. So I thought I'd split the two. And I believe next Friday is going to be the last chance you can get to use "When Will I Hold You Again" on my Bandcamp to give donations for those two causes.
How much money did you raise so far for When Will I Hold You Again?
A little over $2,000.
That's not bad. That's
Yeah,
pretty good.
I was really stoked with it. So stoked. You
Will
know.
this song be part of album two?
No. I'm not, I'm kind of a little bit against putting out a song and then using it for something else in some respects. Maybe, I mean, it's definitely not going to be on album number two. And I doubt it'll ever be on an album, but, I don't know, I just released another song, for a Rough Trade compilation, that's raising money to get people to sort of inform them about the voting, things like that. It's called Spread the Vote. Talk minus action equals zero. It's volume 2. I was on volume 1, and they raised like 20 grand. This one is specifically all proceeds go to an organization called Spread the Vote. Um, and I've got a new song on that as well. It's brand new. I just wrote it, called The City Is Ours, and it's more about the Black Lives Matter movement and taking back the power and things like that. So yeah, I mean, those two songs could be on a 7-inch together. They'd work well, but I don't know. They're doing what they're doing at the moment for a good reason. I'm going to leave it at that.
And these Bandcamp exclusive songs, definitely want to pick your brain on those. But first,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna ask some hard questions. I'm gonna throw some hard questions at you. Album
Oh,
two.
okay.
Anything you could tell me about it? Any collaborators? Anything new you've learned as an artist from doing this? Any details you
Oh,
can share?
yeah. Well, I'm always learning as an artist. I mean, because I'm in here every day writing music, writing songs. So I mean, that's the way you learn. You're always learning stuff when you're doing that. So that's cool. I'm always trying to write better lyrics if I can. And that's a strong. That's like one of my focuses, because I feel like lyrics and singing is kind of like what really draws people in a lot. Um, but yeah, album 2 is actually done. It's gonna come out early next year. That's all actually sorted out. That's gonna happen. Um, what else? What was the other part of that question?
You answered the most important part of it.
Okay. Yeah, that's
That album 2 is done, and we're
yeah,
gonna
coming
see
out.
part 2.
Yep.
I'm very, very excited that.
Mhm.
Are you still going with the self-titled route, or do you have a clever name for it yet? You don't have to share that now.
No,
I don't
I can
want.
share it. That's fine. I'm not too secretive. No, I'm gonna go with with my name still. I mean, I thought about using a band name, and even spoke to people about it, and they all thought it was, yeah, it sounds like a good idea. You should do that. But I don't know. It's gotten to the point where I kind of like using my own name purely because the project is a real reflection of me. I do all the artwork, I come up with the video concepts, I record the music, I write the music, and just to slap some sort of made up band name on it, yeah, it's all cool and stuff, but I like the way that it is no bullshit. It is who I am. It's my name. I'm not making up some fancy name to go with it. It's uh, it's a little bit less. It's a little bit sort of I don't know. It is what you get kind of thing. Here I am.
I mean, like, as far as like an album title.
An
Like, are you
album
going?
title.
Yeah.
Album title. Yeah, I do have an album title actually, but I maybe just hold on to that for the moment.
That's yeah. That was one of the. That's a rough question I was going to ask you. I knew you were going to hold off on that,
Yeah,
but I figured
I'm a
I'd
little
probably
bit.
poke you a little bit.
Yeah, poke away, man.
But yeah, that's great. I'm very excited to hear this. And
Mhm.
hey, the new material you're putting out now is nothing that we can't wait to. You know what I mean? Like, like, you're satisfying us now. So there's a lot more to be excited about down the road. So
For sure.
City of Hours from the Bandcamp exclusive
Yeah.
Talk Action Zero Bandcamp compilation. This is volume 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is kind of all about, spreading the vote and voting rights and all that stuff. So when you're writing these songs, are you having the intention of getting across the message that, okay, we need to get out and vote, or it's just, when we're listening to the song, that's the message we're pulling from it, or it's up to like the listener's interpretation, is what I'm saying.
I mean, a lot of my songs are definitely up to the listener's interpretations. But this song in particular is pretty straight up. It's not really. It spells it out how how I see it, I guess. Yeah. I mean, I like songs that kind of are a little bit trippy, or like, like David Bowie used to do, where it's like, it's kind of like some just weird sort of concepts that, you can kind of pull anything you want out of it a little bit. But yeah, the City Is Ours is definitely straight up about the Black Lives Matter movement.
Wasn't the City of Ours on the voting rights compilation?
It is on the voting rights compilation, so it's not really
Yeah.
about voting so much. It's more about the Black Lives Matter thing.
Oh, okay. And
Yeah,
then you did The Enemy.
the
And
enemy.
that was on
Yes,
the Black Lives Matter Talk plus
yeah,
Action Zero comp, right?
yes, that was,
Yep.
and I mean that song as well could. See, now that's an example of a song that was written before all this was, before March, let's say, and it was written about, I don't know, it wasn't really written about anything. It just kind of came out. But that can definitely be, you could pull many things from that song lyrically, I guess. Many meanings.
And I think sonically, this song is kind of different from what you would usually do because,
Hmm.
a lot of the songs on your first album was like bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
And this is kind of just, you're a little subdued. You kind of just exhale a little bit.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that direction. So,
Yeah.
how important is for you
Uh-huh.
as an artist and all the music that you've made to
Uh-huh.
kind of diversify, an entire project, not just have one kind of sound? Not
Mm.
saying that you do
Yeah.
that, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a tricky one. Because I know what I'm good at, and I know what my strengths are, and who I am, and to a certain extent, I'm always finding out who I am. I guess that's part of writing music for me. Is like it's a bit of a self discovery thing. But um, I know I'm good at writing high energy, sort of rock and roll, I guess, and something like The Enemy is a little bit different. I do push myself in those directions, sometimes. But at the same time, I don't want to deny who I am and where I'm coming from. It's a little bit tricky. It's like I do respect bands like Dead Moon, for example, or Motorhead, or even AC/DC to a certain extent, that they kind of did their thing. And the Ramones, they did their thing. They stuck to it. They didn't really change track. And and I guess maybe I'm a little bit like that musically, and I'm fine to be like that because I'm uh, I'm just kind of expressing who I am, and I'm not trying to be someone I'm not. And trying sometimes these artists that reinvent themselves all the time, I feel like they're just trying too hard and just like throwing things at the wall to just see what sticks and gets them popular or whatever. And I'm not really making music to be popular. I'm writing it to sort of listen back myself and go, wow, that gets my blood moving. But in saying that, I am always trying to push myself in a little bit. I'm trying to always extend my palette and learn new things and not just fall back on what I've done, because I find if you do that, it just gets boring. It just gets like, you start just getting bored with it. You've got to like, just keep coming up with fresh ideas as an artist. As any genre, music, painting, whatever you do, if you don't keep pushing your own limits, you're going to get bored real quick. You know?
Yeah, it's definitely fair to say, because I'm listening, going back to your first album, like songs like "Hanging by a Thread."
Uh-huh.
It's very simple,
Mm-hmm.
and there's this brooding bass line, and then you're just saying
Uh,
"hanging by a thread,"
yeah.
repeating the phrase. And there's not another song on your album that sounds like that, and it's still stuck in my head 3 years later.
Cool.
So
Well, you know what? It's
yeah,
like with songs like that. Each of my songs usually starts with an idea. Like I have a list on my phone of ideas, like no matter what it may be. And that song in particular, the idea was to write that at 3 o'clock in the morning in my studio when I couldn't be very loud. I had to be quiet. So that's how that came out like that. And that was my idea, to write something that I wasn't allowed to be too loud because I'd disturb my neighbors.
there you go. I love that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what you got coming up next. The Shrine EP that's coming out
Mhm.
9/15, September 15th. So the title track is the German version of How. Is that right?
Correct, yeah, it is.
Did you re-record these songs, or did you already have two versions of these songs already lined up?
Uh, with Howl and Shrine, I just re-recorded the vocals for that one. And the other three tracks are just tracks that I've been recording over the last while, I guess.
So what motivated you to do the song in German?
Well, I've got a very old friend who lives in Switzerland. He's a Swiss guy, and he has a very small label. And it was his idea actually to do that. He's a huge fan of the first record, and he just said like, why don't I'd love to do a 7-inch. I thought of a concept of you doing one of your songs in German, kind of like what Johnny Cash or any of those artists used to do in the 60s. They used to do like German versions of their singles to sell in those markets. And so that's kind of what that idea is based around. And he chose Howl, and I thought it was I thought, yeah, this would work well for that. I thought it was a really cool idea. So
And you know what? Since you have love for some Brazilian musicians, why not one day do a Portuguese version of Hanging by a Thread, or a Spanish version of Reduction Agent?
I tell you
Why
what,
not?
I think a Portuguese version of Hanging by a Thread would be great because I only have to learn 4 words and then I'm done, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Not
Make
that
it happen. Make
yeah,
it happen. Record Store Day. Record Store Day 2021. You got to make that happen.
that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Yeah, so yeah, let's talk about A Place Very Strangers. So you've been there 10 years
Mm-hmm.
and you're leaving the band. So
Hmm.
what kind of led to this decision, this ultimately difficult decision?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was a difficult decision. I've been in the band for 10 years and had a lot of good times. and some not so good times. It's kind of all over the show. It was just time for me to. I couldn't be in the band any longer, to be honest. I had to leave, um, and that was it. I mean, I'm really glad I did it. I feel like a weight's lifted off my shoulders, and I don't regret my time in the band. I had I did some good stuff, wrote a lot of cool songs, played some amazing shows, met so many cool people. But at the end of the day, I'm really happy that I'm just kind of focusing on my own stuff. Especially at this stage of my life, it's like I kind of need to do something for myself a little bit more, and I find this a lot more satisfying for me. It's I guess that was a creative itch that needed to be scratched a bit more than you know. So that's that.
And you never really got to play your final two shows
No,
with the group because of everything. Do you ever see yourself just doing one or two more shows with the band when shows start up again?
never. No, it won't happen. No more shows with the band.
Okay, all
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
But by that point, your album will be out, and you're probably working about performing again. You know what I mean? I
yeah,
remember before when we talked, you never really wanted to do like quote unquote solo shows. Has that
yeah.
changed?
That is kind of changing a little bit, especially now I don't have a live outlet. It's kind of there's another itch that needs to be scratched. I'm an itchy guy, mosquitoes everywhere.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I think so. Maybe I don't know. I've still not decided about that. I like this being a recording project. Getting a band together is a whole new sort of um, killer fish. I was, I actually had a band together right before COVID hit, and I was going to play a couple of shows. And the band members I picked, kind of handpicked the people, and it was like the perfect people for what I wanted to do with this band. So it was a shame that didn't happen. So maybe some down the track.
So tell me about the bond you've built over the last decade with Oliver and recently Leah with the group. Because I see you guys on social media on tour, all over the world, and you guys seem to have this kind of chemistry and tag team packed. You know what I mean? It just seems very. I like seeing stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean that kind of stuff doesn't come along often. I felt like the three of us on stage definitely had a kind of magic. It was three very different people
Yes.
coming from very different angles, but when it all came together, it was cohesive and created something really, really powerful. And um, yeah, it was good to be a part of that. Being in the center of that, it was quite moving at times. It was quite like I felt like I was part of a fireball or something. It was pretty cool.
How do you feel that you've grown? In what aspects as an artist have you grown from being with A Place Based Strangers for 10 years?
Oh, a lot. I mean, the 10 years is a long time. It's like quarter of my life. So it's how can you not grow unless something tragically is wrong with you? I
Yeah.
guess. Um, as a musician, I mean, as a person, I'd hoped. In many different ways, I guess. I don't know. It's seeing all the traveling the world is like really eye opening, and it's one of my very favorite things to do. I love going to new places. I always have. Getting to seeing all these different cultures, makes you really appreciate the diversity on the planet. It's really strange to me how some people just want to stamp out diversity and like don't like other cultures or whatever. I just do not understand that because to me it's like one of the best things about life. It's really cool. And I don't know, it's about halfway through the band too I stopped drinking and taking drugs, so that was kind of cool as well, where I don't know, that was just a major change in my life, I guess. Made me think about many different other aspects of life and stuff like that. I mean, I'd hope I've grown as a person in a positive way, definitely as a musician. Um, and I'm always working on both those things.
Yeah, get rid of the sex and drugs and just focus on the rock and roll.
I guess so. I guess so, man.
So, what advice do you have for any aspiring band that wants to tour the world like you guys have done?
Oh, well, my advice is it was the same advice my parents gave me. Is it might sound a little bit like what's the word for it? Cliche or something. I have a note here in my drawer that my deceased mother gave me. Let me get this out here. There it is. Okay, I still have this note. She says, "My darling Dion, work hard and have faith in yourself as I do, because you are the best. Love you lots, mum and dad." So I think working hard is the key. Not giving up and just focusing on your dreams, focusing hard. But you got to work hard. Most people give up on their dreams. Most 90% of people, because it's too hard. They just can't be. They just don't have the stamina to, just like a cockroach, to just live through it and just like just work really hard. But if you're truthful to yourself, you don't mind the work because it's what you love doing. You're not there to sell records. You're not there to be popular. You're there because you love making music, and everything else is just secondary. And that's why I write music every single day, is because I'm working hard and I'm practicing all the time. And that's a secret. Work hard, stay focused, and believe in yourself.
Yeah, and I think there's a reason why some people kind of give up, because they probably compare themselves to other people. And now with social media, it's very easy to do that. You see other bands, they're getting reviews by Pitchfork, and it might discourage an artist like, what's the
Mm.
point? I'm
Yeah.
not getting booked here, I'm not getting booked there. Even for
Mm.
me, I've reached out to artists that are on the same kind of level of notoriety as someone like you, and sometimes they don't answer me, and that can be a little discouraging.
Mm.
But you can't give up. You have to kind of like
Yeah.
just change the road you're on. That's all.
Yeah, it can be discouraging. It can be very, I mean, it's super discouraging. Like 90% of the work I do gets no thanks and gets nothing happening, honestly. But that's not why I do the work. And I know that if I just, and I've learned from experience, if I just keep persisting and keep practicing, and if it's not working, look at it, maybe change the angle, whatever, then eventually stuff will happen. um, or at least come up with some stuff that I'm very proud of. So yeah, it's very discouraging. It's hard, man. Hard to stay positive about that stuff. But I feel like if you're doing it for the right reasons, then you know you won't be so discouraged.
We just have to find our reason. That's outside of fame and likes, clicks, and
All
etc.
that, yeah, yeah. It's got For me that's not a valid reason. The reason is it's almost it's a spiritual reason almost. You know what I
Mm,
mean? It's more of a deep thing.
yeah. So, what about some music industry tips for some young musicians, like dealing with labels, etc.?
God, I'm terrible at that kind of thing. I mean, it's really hard as a musician or an artist. I mean, depending on who you are, I know artists that are really good at networking and getting themselves out there and things like that, and sort of like talking themselves up. I'm terrible at it. I feel very uncomfortable doing that kind of thing. But I do feel all you need is one person, one person that has a bit of pull or influence that believes in you as much as you believe in yourself. If you're not very good at like marketing or whatever, you just need to find that one person that can really help out with that kind of thing. And I actually recently found that person for my to get out my second record, and that was very very helpful. And I was saying that to my wife, and for half a year, I just got to find that person, and I did, and it really changed the whole direction of kind of what's going to happen in the future, I think. But yeah, I mean, I would say also networking and just being a good person, and being able to listen to people, being able to talk to people, getting out there amongst it, talking to fellow bands, talking to just getting out there and hanging out with people and meeting people is a huge thing.
Yeah, well said. Because I must say, like, I'm not the best at networking. Like, I've been in certain rooms where the right people were there, quote unquote. But
Yeah,
how do you really maneuver that? It's
yeah.
very difficult. You just
I can't do it. It makes me feel super uncomfortable.
It is very uncomfortable.
Because I
Yeah.
always feel like I'm okay. This person can do this, can maybe help me out here. And then I always and there's an agenda there. I have an agenda with this person, and it's all to help me for my stuff. It just seems so, I don't know, gross or something.
Yeah, it is. It is. You're absolutely right.
But
And what I
it doesn't have to be like that.
yeah,
If you form honest, I think that's part of the secret, is to form honest, real relationships with these people. And it doesn't, it shouldn't be about that stuff. That stuff can be secondary. You know what I mean? It's just.
absolutely. I think I know the type of person I am. I ask a lot of questions.
Hmm.
Like I don't want anything from anyone. I just give me the information that can help me get to where I need to go, and
Hmm.
that's it.
Hmm. Yeah.
So the new EP,
Hmm.
it's Shrine, out September 15th.
Yep.
Anything else you want to add, Dion? Any place that people can follow you, reach out to you, buy your records, anything?
Yeah. I mean, I would say, when does this go to air, you think?
Oh, next Saturday.
Next Saturday. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I would say, yeah, go check out that Spread the Vote Talk One is Action Equals Zero Volume 2 by Rough Trade. There's 59 songs on it. You can pay as low as $2 for it if you want, or up to whatever you want. But it's a real good cause. I mean, getting people to vote now is important. With the EP, it comes out September 15th. Unfortunately, at the moment, I sold all my copies out, but
Look at
uh,
you.
yeah, it's good. But you can get it in Europe through a site called Flight 13. Unfortunately, they don't ship to the US. But I mean, if you have a friend in Europe, you could get it shipped to them, and they could ship it to you. So there's one way around that. And I'm trying to sort out some stuff here, but it's hard with these small labels, and with the COVID, and like with expensive shipping costs and all that kind of thing. It's a bit of a nightmare to work out that kind of thing. But yeah,
I love it.
mm-hmm.
And don't forget, Dion has an album out, and
Yep,
it's great.
I do. Yep.
It's still there. You can listen to that too while you wait for the new stuff.
Yeah, you can get that. You can get that on my Bandcamp if you're interested.
Where can people? What's your Instagram handle?
Dion Lunadon is my Instagram handle. That's it.
There
That's
we
my
go.
name. Yep.
All right, Dion. Thank you so much for talking with me again.
Cool. Thanks for having me.